ladies and gentlemen. It's really a great pleasure and an honor for me to be here in Seoul today to share with you some thoughts, some research findings on probiotics in general and especially on Lactobacillus GG. And at the same time, we also found that there are certain types of microbiota in infants that predispose them to atopic diseases. And here we can clearly see that allergic infants are very different in microbiota compared to healthy ones. And not only that, but deviations in microbiota precede eczema development. So looking at the gold standard, looking at the differences in microbiota, we can come to the conclusion that we have here, first of all, the gut barrier dysfunction. We have aberrant microbiota, and these two lead to alterations in the antigen load, inflammation, and in case of infants, you have symptoms such as eczema, and you have problems in growth. So our target was to start looking at Lactobacillus GG to balance the microbiota, which it did already in rotavirus diarrhea. It also normalized gut barrier dysfunction in rotavirus diarrhea. And here we have seen differences in antigen load and reduced inflammation. So all in all, it did work quite well. And it reduced the prevalence of eczema to about 50% compared to the placebo one. We also saw an impact on the breast milk composition. In the Lactobacillus GG treated ones, we had more TGF-beta, protective cytokine, in breast milk, and that certainly has been one factor that has contributed towards the reduced prevalence of atopic eczema. But so clearly there was a benefit on using Lactobacillus GG, and the safety aspects were also looked at here. The perinatal administration of probiotic was safe. We didn't see any influence on the height or weight for height factors during the first 48 months. No adverse effects, no interference with the long-term composition of intestinal microbiota or the diversity of gut microbiota, and interestingly, no permanent colonization. So once we stop Lactobacillus GG, it gradually disappears from most subjects. Rotavirus diarrhea, prevention and treatment, mechanisms, normalized microbiota, shortened duration by 50%. The same result with Lactobacillus GG, whether the study was done in Finland, in South America, in Asian countries, or in Australia. Necrotizing enterocolitis in infants. This has been a large discussion point in the United States last summer when the American meta-analysis was published, clearly favoring probiotic use in prevention of necrotizing enterocolitis in young infants. Also, the Cochrane review a couple of years earlier promotes the probiotic effect. We do have reduced mortality in preterm infants, and 3 of those studies have been done with Lactobacillus GG. Bifidobacterium lactis and Lactobacillus GG have been GRAS certified for infant foods, and in Europe, in the QPS system, both Lactobacillus GG and Bifidobacterium lactis classify for that purpose, and they both have a long history of safe use. Now, going to the last aspect, thinking about microbiota and overweight. One of the fast-growing and really dramatical problems in most European countries, and I presume you also have this problem. So we have looked at children who later developed overweight. We do see early differences during the first year of life in microbiota between those children who later become overweight. And again, interestingly, it is the Bifidobacterium species that seems to be important. The quantity and quality differ in infants later gaining weight and becoming obese. And the question we have asked ourselves is, can we give probiotics to the mother? Can we give probiotics to the infant to actually counteract this situation? Here we have bacterial data, microbiota composition data on bifidobacteria on children who were overweight at 5 years. What was their microbiota like at 6 months of age or at 1 year of age? And you see the ones with red bars, they became overweight by 5 years of life. And they all have significantly lower numbers of bifidobacteria and almost the same situation at 1 year. We have looked at the first probiotic intervention studies. We have seen that in mothers whose children were normal weight, they had breast milk adiponectin concentrations that were significantly higher than in those children who became overweight at the age of 10 years. Normal weight children also had significantly higher serum CD14 concentrations and tended to have higher bifidobacterial numbers. In our 10-year follow-up study, we were able to demonstrate that early gut microbiota modulation with probiotics, and in this case with Lactobacillus GG, modified the growth pattern of a child, restraining excessive weight gain during the first years of life. So at least we could postpone obesity development. In looking at mothers on a probiotic, pregnant mothers on a probiotic intervention study, we have here a model where actually a weight gain, rapid weight gain takes place in 9 months' time. And in this particular study, again, Lactobacillus GG was used, and the risk of central adiposity, defined as waist circumference 80 centimeters or more, was lowered in women who received the probiotics and nutrition counseling when compared to just placebo and nutrition counseling. So again, nutrition counseling helps, but in this case, combining it with probiotics actually helped more. Alleviation of intestinal inflammatory responses, degradation of antigens favoring tolerance development in infants, normalization of intestinal permeability and gut microbiota, and also anti-inflammatory response and control of energy storage and intake. So putting these things together with balanced, good, recommended nutrition and having the probiotic with us is hopefully going to help us in fighting the obesity epidemic. It will not solve the problem totally because still the basic problem comes in overeating, but it will help in treating and alleviating the results. Thank you very much.